Well, welcome once again to the Ahern Video Podcast. Today we're going to talk about how to sell a trucking company. And the title is How to Sell a Transportation Company, because I'm getting a lot of calls from truck brokers, freight brokers, and I'm getting a lot of calls from trucking companies. And it's the same old question: is it the time to sell? Is it true that people are receiving record profits for the sale of their business? Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And so I'm going to walk you through a process. It's a Part 4 series. I'm going to do Part 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're actually going to discuss how to get prepared to sell your company, what you have to do, what you have to anticipate. I've always talked about mental preparation, but before you even go through the mental preparation process, you need to have your company reviewed. And you need to have someone that's experienced in trucking or logistics, that's been involved in at least multiple sales of businesses, or they've worked with clients that are involved in multiple sales of businesses, and you have to have a value. For most of us, our business is our retirement account. We expect that when we retire, we're going to hit a home run, and 9 out of 10 times, when you find out what the business is really worth, it doesn't reach your expectations. For many companies, particularly small to medium-sized trucking companies, you've got a tight knit of people. You've got your accountant and you've got your attorney, and you feel comfortable with them, and the accountant's been your friends for years, the attorney's been your friends for years, and you let them do the valuations. If they haven't been involved in multiple, at least 100 transactions, then you should not let them place the value, because what they're going to do is they're going to go to the public sector. They're going to look at what the public sector is perceived to pay for a company. They're going to say that you outperform that public company, and even if you're only $4, $5, $10, $20 million, they're going to use the same type of formula, and it's not how it works. So please, 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 the first thing you want to do is you want to get an evaluation on the company. As part of that evaluation process, you're going to have to provide a certain amount of information. The financial statements for the last 3 years, including hopefully a review at year end. You're going to have to provide all of your add backs. And what is an add back? If you're a C corporation, you're taking out dividend distributions. That's over and above your base compensation. You're getting an expense account, your 401ks, etc. You need to break those out. And that's going to be part of your add backs to determine what your actual earnings are for a 3-year period. Now, if you've got a 401k for everybody, is that an add back? The answer is no, it's not an add back, because they've got to continue that. If you're a trucking company and you have assets, 98% of the time it's going to be an asset sale. So you want to make sure that you have a value on the assets. And trucks, even though the truck market is strong, even though the trailer market may be strong, you're not going to get retail value. You'll be lucky if you get fair market. Normally you're going to get orderly liquidation value, and the older the equipment, the less likelihood that you're going to be able to sell that equipment to the buyer. The buyer's probably going to want you to liquidate that equipment. There's other variables that you have to be concerned about, but the first thing you have to do is get an evaluation on the business. 9 out of 10 times I hear from accountants that it's got to be a stock sale. It's not going to be. So start with a pool of money and start working backwards. Assuming that the price meets your expectation, then you need to start the mental preparation process. Are you ready to let go? Do you have something else to do with your life? If you're a company of a certain size that has a certain density, that has historical growth, then that brings more value. And we'll get into values in our next session. But I think the point is, first you have to have an evaluation by someone that's been in the transportation industry, that's been involved in the sales process or the M&A process for a number of years, and they specialize in transportation, and get that evaluation done. And whatever it costs, it's a lot less expensive than going through a due diligence process and not crossing the finish line. Last week I received a telephone call from a company that was about $5 million, and he says, I heard that companies of my size, their revenue, their customer base is worth 25% of their gross revenue. I said, who in the heck told you that? Well, that's what I heard. I said, well, you're absolutely wrong. Are you making any money? No. Well, here's what your company's worth. Well, I wouldn't sell it. But you're not making any money. That doesn't make any difference. This is what I want. So you've got to get through that process. Once you believe that the market is willing to pay what you believe the business is worth to you, then you have to mentally prepare to let go. You have to remember that selling your business is like planning your own funeral. It's a very emotional process. You have to have something else to do. I do a lot of public speaking, and I give a lot of examples in my public speaking, and I won't mention the individual's name, but this is a very close personal friend of mine. He started his business. He built it up to about 2,500 trucks. He took it public, then he retired, and he lasted 3 weeks in retirement. He doesn't need the money, but he needs the purpose. So once you determine what the value is, you next need to determine, 2, if you're ready to let go, and 3, do you have another purpose in life? Until next time, thank you for attending the podcast.